So we have found that growing beets in the traditional ground just doesn't work for us for whatever variety of reasons. The soil is fertile, but it just seems a little dense. We just can't get the seeds to germinate, to grow the ultimate best that they possibly can. So we reverted to raised beds with the beets, and we did half this bed in bush beans and the other half in beets. And we're going to harvest these, and we went through and we thinned them early as they develop, because if you don't, I've got a couple of examples here of what happens. So you can harvest these at any time. Now, these two are growing together. This is a prime example of what happens when you don't thin. If we would have thinned this one out, this one would have gotten larger. So that's a prime example there. Now, what is edible on a beet? Everything. Now, when I say everything, everything's edible. The beet leaves are greens. The younger they are, the tenderer they are, the more tasty they have. The stalk here is edible, but we've never found a great way to eat it. It has a very dirty taste to it. It's just very difficult to palate. And then the beet, if you're going to preserve it in canning, it's got to be, and you pickle it, you need to water bath it, and you need to peel it. If you're going to roast it, you still want to peel it after you've roasted it, because it has a very dense skin here, and it'll just expose the root and the flavor more. So, what do we have here? That was an okay one. Let's go this one. This was the partner to that one. Let's go. Now these got irrigation on them. Not all the time got water, but that's a decent one there. This one here is a nice one. That's the way. It's a nice beet there. And you can see how, and this has broken, well, that's pretty much the bottom, but you can see how much root is on that. It's very, very unique how these things grow. All right, so I'm going to harvest the rest of these, see what we have here, and then we'll go over and harvest a couple that was voluntarily came up from a planting that wasn't that great in one of the other raised large grow bags. All right, so we've harvested that bed, and we got a variety of different shapes and sizes, all edible. What you can do now is, if you're not going to use the top portions for eating, you can just go ahead and trim these back and then keep them in the crisper, and they'll keep in the fridge for a number of weeks. You just don't want to disturb the root. Like this here, we'd leave that alone because that would expose the root to dehydration more. When you cut this, it's going to prevent energy from coming from the root to try to keep the greens, or sucking the energy. So let's go over to the other grow bed here. We've got a volunteer carrot, and then we've also got a couple of beets that I want to harvest to add to our harvest of beets this year. So we've got the center bed here. We've got a volunteer carrot and some beets. We've got volunteer Swiss chard here, and we have one beet I wanted to harvest. Now these are just very, very pretty plants there. Okay, so we'll start with the beets. We got one back here. It appears to be a decent size. Yeah, it's a nice, decent beet there. Get rid of some of the stuff that broke off. All right, and we've got one here. I don't think this is nope. Here's another reason. This is another example of they came out together. The competitiveness of the beet and how they don't develop if we don't thin. So we get rid of those. That's compost. Do we have any more here? Maybe we just had one. Okay, so now there is some weeds in this grow bed that we will clean out. Here's a giant carrot I wanted to harvest, I guess, to get the rest of this bed cleaned out. Now I don't know how big this is, but you can see right there from the top, pretty good size. So let's just see. Supposed to push down, twist, and then pull up. That took the whole carrot. That is one nice carrot. Yeah, that's very good. So, with the beets and the carrots, it's a crop in which you can grow in the spring as well as in the fall. Beets take about 65 to 70 days. Carrots take somewhere right around that 70-day range as well.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.